have you ever imagined why humans are so emotionally connected to clay? It is a strange relationship when you think about it. Clay is just earth, wet soil, mud under our feet, and yet, for thousands of years, across nearly every civilization, humans have shaped it with care, protected it, decorated it, fired it, and passed it down through generations. Even today, in a world filled with screens, machines, and digital technology, people still feel drawn to clay in a deeply personal way. But you might want to ask yourself, why is this happening? Part of the answer may lie in our history. Long before modern cities existed, clay helped humans survive. We shaped it into bowls to carry water, pots to cook food, jars to store grain, and bricks to build shelter. Clay was not a luxury, it was life itself. Some of the earliest fingerprints ever discovered from ancient humans were found pressed into clay pottery. Think about that for a moment. Thousands of years later, the mark of a human hand still remains. Clay remembers us. Unlike many materials, clay records touch with incredible sensitivity. Every movement leaves evidence behind. Fingerprints, pressure marks, carving lines, textures from cloth, wood, or skin. In a way, clay captures human presence more intimately than stone or metal ever could. And maybe that is one of the reasons we feel connected to it so deeply. When people work with clay, they are not just creating objects, they are leaving traces of themselves behind. There is also something deeply grounded about the physical experience of clay. Modern life often keeps us trapped in our minds, thinking, scrolling, planning, rushing. But clay pulls attention back into the human body. The hands becomes busy while the mind becomes quiet and steady. You feel the moisture, the weight, the spinning motion of the wheel, and the resistance of the material pushing back against your fingers. Clay responds instantly to emotion and pressure. If your movements are tense, the clay shows it. If your attention drifts, the form collapses. Working with clay demands presence. Because of that, many people experience pottery almost like meditation. There is rhythm in wedging clay, rhythm in pulling walls on the wheel, rhythm in trimming, glazing, and repeating the same gesture over and over again. The process slows time down. In a fast-moving world, slowing down can feel healing, but our emotional connection to clay may go deeper than touch and history. Across many cultures and religions, clay appears in stories about creation itself. In some traditions, humans were believed to be formed from earth or dust. Clay became a symbol of life, transformation, and human fragility. And honestly, the comparison makes sense. Clay is vulnerable. Before firing, it can collapse, crack, dry out, or break apart completely. It requires patience and care. But after passing through fire, it becomes strong and enduring. That transformation speaks to something even more deeply human. People see themselves in the process. We go through pressure, mistakes, failure, heat, and change. And somehow, those experiences shapes us into stronger versions of ourselves. Pottery mirrors that journey. Even the imperfection in ceramics often feel emotional. A slightly uneven bowl, a warped rim, or a glaze that moved unexpectedly in the kiln. In mass production, imperfections are considered flaws, but in handmade pottery, imperfection often make a piece feel alive. Because perfection can feel distant, humanity does not. When we hold a handmade cup, we can sense the presence of the person who made it. The object carries evidence of effort, time, and touch. It reminds us that another human being sat quietly somewhere shaping this piece by hand. That connection matters, especially now. Today, many of the objects around us are designed for speed, convenience, and replacement. They are made by machines, shipped in bulk, and forgotten quickly. But pottery feels different. A handmade ceramic piece often becomes part of daily ritual. Morning coffee, shared meals, flowers on a table, tea at night. Over time, these objects quietly gather memories around them. And because clay is born from earth itself, pottery carries a certain warmth and honesty that people instinctively recognize. Maybe that's why humans continue returning to clay generation after generation. Not because it is easy, not because it is perfect, but because it reconnects us to our hands, to history, to patience, to creativity, and perhaps even to ourselves. Clay begins as a simple earth, and somehow, in shaping it, humans often end up shaping something within themselves too. There is also something powerful about the unpredictability of clay. No matter how skilled a potter becomes, clay can never be controlled completely. A piece may dry differently than expected. A glaze may change color in the kiln. A bowl may warp slightly during firing. Even experienced ceramic artists are constantly surprised by the material, and strangely, the uncertainty is part of the attraction. In many ways, clay teaches acceptance. It reminds people that not everything can be forced into perfection. Sometimes, the most beautiful ceramic pieces are the ones that carry evidence of accidents, adaptation, and change. A crack repaired carefully, an uneven form balanced by character, a glazed floor that unexpectedly becomes the highlight of the piece. Clay teaches people to work with unpredictability instead of fighting against it. That lesson feels especially important even in human life. We often try to control every outcome, every plan, every detail of our future. But life, much like pottery, rarely unfolds exactly the way we expect. Things shift, circumstances change, mistakes happen, and yet meaning and beauty can emerge from imperfection. There's also a quiet honesty in pottery that people instinctively trust. Handmade ceramic reveals the process behind their creation. You can often see the drawing lines left by the wheel, the slight movements of the maker's fingers, the marks of trimming tools, or the brushstrokes in the glaze. The object does not hide the fact that it was made by a person. In contrast, many modern products are designed to appear flawless and identical. Machines erase variations, factories remove evidence of touch, but pottery reserves individuality, and perhaps that is why handmade ceramics feel comforting in a world that increasingly feels automated and impersonal. Also, clay can also connect humans to nature in a direct and physical way. Pottery depends on the four ancient elements: earth, water, air, and fire. The clay itself comes from earth. Water gives it flexibility. Air slowly dries it. Fire transforms it forever inside the kiln. Few art forms remain so deeply connected to natural processes. That performance gives pottery a unique emotional weight. When someone makes a ceramic object, they are creating something that may continue existing long after they are gone. A handmade mug passed through generations, a vase sitting quietly in someone's home decades from now, a bowl discovered centuries later. Pottery allows ordinary people to leave small pieces of themselves behind in the world, and perhaps that desire to create something lasting is deeply human. There's also the emotional experience of the kiln itself. For many potters, opening a kiln feels almost ceremonial. Hours, days, or even weeks of work disappear behind a closed kiln door, transformed by heat and uncertainty. No one knows exactly what the final result will be until the kiln cools and opens. That moment contains anticipation, excitement, fear, and hope all at once. Some pieces emerge beautifully finished, others crack unexpectedly. Some glazes become breathtaking, others fail completely. Pottery constantly reminds people that creation involves risk, and because of that risk, successful pieces feel genuinely meaningful. Nothing is guaranteed in ceramics, and perhaps
There is another reason people love it so deeply. The process mirrors life itself: fragile beginnings, moments of pressure, transformation through difficulty, unexpected outcomes, imperfections, loss, patience, and occasional moments of extraordinary beauty. And through all of it, clay remains humble. It starts as mud in someone's hand, yet from that mud come cups used in daily rituals, sculptures displayed in museums, vessels passed through families, and objects capable of carrying memory, emotion, and human presence across generations. Few materials hold both simplicity and meaning so completely. That is why humans remain emotionally connected to clay. Because somewhere between earth and fire, people recognize themselves.